Hi everybody, this is Storm, and I'm going to be showing you how to set up some mining macros today. And I think we will go ahead and start with how I have my layout set up. And the first thing I can do is over here you can see where I have each of the different ore types from the small to the very large piles all set up. And what you do is while you're out mining, as you get each of these different ore types, you just drag them into your hotbar, and then you right click on it, and for target you go over here and select stored, and then you would either click on say your fire beetle or the forge that you're going to be using all the time. I personally like the fire beetle. That way you can smelt everything as you go. That's how you set up those. And each one of those you will have to set the target stored individually. Then the next one that I get questions about all the time is how to mine by prospector tool. And I have tried to set this up to put it all in one big long macro, and for some reason it tends to hang up with the prospecting tool in it. It'll work sometimes and then it'll hang up. So I've just found over time it's just easier to have your prospecting tool set up in a different macro. This is how I do mine. The first thing you want to do is you go over and you hit create a new macro. And if you don't know how to get to that, you just go to escape, hit your escape button and select macros, and then you select new. The first thing I always do is I label it so that in this box right here so that I know what the macro is for. And then I left click over here and I sort through all the different pictures we have. As you can see, that little screen just popped up, and you can sort through and pick whatever icon helps you remember what it is. I have the little shovel and the little pile of, or the axe and the little pile of ore there. The next thing I do is you take and drag a shovel, like I have over here, into this box, your first box. And then you bring up your action screen, which is probably already up there for you. And then you sort through it until you find the heading that has delay on it. And there it is. It's under Other. And then you just drag that over into this window. And when you do that, this little screen's going to pop up and ask you how long you want your delay set for. Depending on your connection speed and everything, this is going to vary. I have mine set at 3 seconds. Next thing you do is you will drag your prospecting tool into the macro bar, and then you will select target for it is set to cursor, and also target for your shovel will be set to cursor. Then you drag in wait for target, which that is found, let's see if I can remember where that's at. Here we go. Wait for target. You will drag that in there. And then the next one that you want is cursor target last. And that's right below the wait for target. And you throw that on there, and then you click OK. And then at the very end of your macro list, you will find that macro. And like you see, mine's listed right there. And then you just drag it over to whatever hotbar that you want. And then you can assign a hotkey to it. And when you select assign a hotkey, the next key that you press is the key that will be set to that. Or you can not set any hotkeys, and you can just click on the window in the hotbar that you have it set to, the icon. And it'll automatically run that for you. So that's how to do your prospecting. Well, now once you got your spot prospected, you need to set up another macro. And I have mine set to F4, and my macro looks like this. Again, you give it a name, and then pick a little picture for it or a little icon to represent it. Then you drag your shovel over here to the first spot in the macro. Then you drag over again the cursor target last. And then I drag another shovel. And I'll explain why in a minute. And I also set that to target cursor for both of those. Then I drag over a delay again, like I showed you in the last one, and I have this one set at 1 second. This could change for you, maybe 1 second, maybe a half a second, maybe 3 or 4 seconds. Then you have cursor target last again. Now, the really neat part about this macro is you will see all these different large ore piles that I have drug in here. Each one of these piles will represent different ore types. So you're going to have iron, shadow, dull copper, etc., until you have all of the different ore types in there. Then you're going to right click on those and hit target stored, and you're going to target your fire beetle again, or your forge that you happen to be using at the time. And the neat thing about this macro is I have it set now, enable repeating, and I have it set to repeat 10 times. So what that's going to do is it's going to go through dig at whatever the last location I used with my prospecting tool, or if you just clicked with a regular shovel, no prospecting tool, it would still mine whatever the last location you mined at. It's going to mine it 10 times if it's within reach. But I set another shovel in there, so basically I'm getting 20 digs per press of the macro, which usually should clear out any mining spot completely. But then the macro gets to this part right here, and what it does is after each time you dig twice, then it goes through and it smelts each one of these ores for you. So basically you're mining and smelting all at the same time. Okay, and that's how to do that. Now, the other one that I've been asked about is mining by resource. Mining by resource, this one, it's just like you make any other macro. You label it, you pick your icon that's going to represent it, and then you drag over the target by resource icon. When you first drag that in and you drop it into your macro line, this little window is going to pop up, and it's going to ask you what basically it's asking you what tool you're going to use. So I've made 2 of these that I'm going to show you how to do for the shovel. You just take the shovel and drag it over and drop it in and select OK. So now that macro is going to use the shovel. You could also put in pickaxe instead if you wanted. I find shovels way less and they last just as long. So then you're going to want to put in a delay of 1 second. Or more or less depending on your computer. Then target by resource again, and of course you're going to drop your shovel in just like we did the first one. Then you're going to have another 1 second delay, and then another target by resource, and you're going to drop your shovel in. This is going to allow you to get basically 30 digs per spot. Then just like in the other macro, I drag each one of my ore piles into my macro line. I right click on it, hit target, stored, and again I select my fire beetle. And this is going to target any spot that you are digging at, and it's going to target by resource. So you don't have to have already dug somewhere with a shovel. This is going to pick the nearest resource square by you, and it's going to attempt to dig that. The other thing you need to do is hit enable repeat, and then of course select up to 10 times. And with this macro here, that will basically try to mine up to 30 times in any one spot. Okay, so that's how we make those macros. And then of course you have just the very simple macro for to use any item, shovel for example. You drag your shovel over here, drop it in the command line, and then you select target current. Or you could select also target cursor. So each time you press that button, it's going to give you a cursor and to select, where to target. You could also do this with target by resource. See if I can find target by resource in here. Should be down here. Where is target by resource? Can't remember where the target by resource is. There it is. You drag the target by resource over in here, and then it's asking you what item you're going to use, and you could just drag your shovel up in there, like I'm going to do here. If I can get my shovel to drag. There we go. And just drop that in, and of course you select ore. That's what you want to be mining for. Of course, this will also work for sand too. And you just click OK. Now anytime I hit that button, it's going to try to target by resource, and it will do it 10 times. Or you could adjust this down to not repeat and just do it 1 per click, or however you want. And so anyway, that is how we set up your mining macros. The other thing that I recommend is, you see how I have my hotbar laid out? I have all my different ore types also lined up. So they're, my valerite is out here at the end for all of these, and my ingot types. So that way I know what I have of each one. Now, while I'm out mining, you're going to end up every once in a while with miscellaneous extra little pieces like these here. And all you have to do is click on that square, and it will automatically attempt to smelt it. Each time you click on that, it'll smelt your whole entire pile for you. And that way you can keep your backpack clean and as lightweight as possible. Now, with some of these other macros that I have shown you over here, like for example this one here, where you have all these large ore types in here. Now you can also go through and you could put each of your other smaller type ore types in there too. The way I have it set up so that I keep my macro going at a fairly decent speed is I just use the large piles since they're the most weighty, and then as the other ones build up, I'll just single click on them and it will smelt it for me. Anyway, that is how we set up our mining macros, and also with our prospecting tool. I hope that helps you out, and we'll be talking to you later. Thank you.